Hello everyone, my name is Jack, and this is Homebrew Heroes, where I share with you all some homebrew content for the game, Dungeons & Dragons. Today, I'll go over the newly released subclasses from Unearthed Arcana that came out on August 15th, 2019. The new subclasses are mystical themed, with the Barbarian getting the Path of the Wild Soul, and the Monk getting the Way of the Astral Self. If you want to know more about these subclasses, the links to them can be found in the description below. With that said, let's begin. The first subclass from this Unearthed Arcana takes the Barbarian and exposes it to the magic of the Feywild. The Path of the Wild Soul allows the Barbarian to unleash powerful surges when they rage, which can turn their tide in their favor, or in the enemy's. The first feature is Lingering Magic at level 3. You can now cast the Detect Magic spell without spell slots or spell components. You'll also slightly glow a color based on the school of magic that you have detected with this spell. I wouldn't recommend doing this while you're stealthing or hiding, or else you'll be very easy to find. You can do this a number of rounds equal to your Constitution modifier, and you'll gain the uses back after a long rest. The next feature is Wild Surge, also at level 3. When you begin your rage, you'll gain a random effect on your new Wild Surge table. It works just like the Wild Magic table for the Sorcerer, but instead of 50 silly and sometimes helpful effects, there's only 8 effects to potentially gain here, and they'll help you out more than they will hinder. Let's go through them all, shall we? Effect number 1. You'll emit a blast of necrotic energy, damaging anyone within 30 feet of you. They'll take 1d10 damage, and you'll gain temporary hit points equal to the total damage dealt. Effect number 2. You'll teleport 20 feet away to an unoccupied spot of your choosing. Until your rage ends, you can use a bonus action to teleport again up to 20 feet. Effect number 3. You'll summon 1d4 spirits. That looks like flumps, because of course it does. And they'll fly off in a random direction. At the end of your turn, they'll explode and hurt anyone that's within 5 feet of them. Effect number 4. You'll gain a +2 bonus to your AC, and if a creature hits you with a melee attack, they'll take force damage equal to your Constitution modifier. Effect number 5. Plant life will intensify around you, creating difficult terrain up to 10 feet around you until your rage ends. It doesn't say if you'll be affected by this, but if so, you'll have a very hard time trying to reach anyone to attack, so be careful. Effect number 6. You'll tap into the minds of everyone within 30 feet of you, and you'll learn how they plan to attack you. Creatures that attack you before the start of your next turn suffer disadvantage on their attack rolls. Effect number 7. Shadows will wrap around your weapon, causing it to deal psychic damage instead of its usual weapon damage type. It will also gain the light and thrown properties, letting you yeet your heavy weapons with ease. Once the weapon is out of your grasp, the weapon will dissipate and reappear in your hands at the end of your turn. Effect number 8. A 60-foot beam of light will emit out of your chiseled chest, causing 2d8 radiant damage and the blinding condition to anyone caught in your chest beam. At level 6, you'll get your magical reserves. As an action, you can touch a creature and roll a d4. The creature will recover a spell slot equal to the d4 roll. So, if you rolled a 2, the creature will gain back a 2nd level spell slot. But what if the creature can't use magic and doesn't use spell slots? Well, in that case, the creature will instead gain temporary hit points equal to the d4 roll multiplied by 5. So if you rolled a 2, the creature will gain 10 temporary hit points. However, once you use this feature, you'll suffer force damage equal to the d4 roll times 5. At level 14, the die roll will change from a d4 to a d6, letting you recover higher spell slots or granting more hit points. Since barbarians usually have high HP, this shouldn't really cause a major impact to your health, as the highest damage you'll suffer from this is 20 HP with the d4 and 30 HP on a d6. The next feature is Arcane Rebuke. If a creature forces you to make any kind of saving throw while you are raging, you can use your reaction to deal 3d6 force damage to them. Then, at level 14, you'll gain the final feature, Chaotic Fury. If you are raging and you don't like your Wild Surge effect, you can use a bonus action to re-roll on the Wild Surge table, and you'll take the new effect. Both of these features don't have a limit to them, so you can keep using both of these features as long as you are raging. That means you can keep using Chaotic Fury on each of your turns to try to get a specific effect. This is what happens when you combine the Wild Magic Sorcerer with the Barbarian. I prefer the effects on the Wild Surge table more than the Wild Magic table, as most of them are useful and they won't turn you into a potted plant. I think this is a good start to a Feywild themed Barbarian, and I'm curious to see what they'll do next with it. Now for the big one. The next subclass is the Way of the Astral Self, which has the monk harnessing their ki to manifest an astral self, a mystical version of their true self. Alright, let's address the Hierophant in the room. Wizards of the Coast just made a f***ing stand user class. As you can see here, everyone on Twitter and everyone on Reddit knows what they've done.
Ben was inspired by a number of things as he started to explore the way of the astral self. From different movies, different Japanese animation.
Or maybe there's something else to this. You see, I just made a stand user video a few weeks ago, which is my plug of the day, and you should totally check that out. But after looking over this, I can say this is a totally different kind of stand user, one that isn't like the ones I covered before. Just give me 6 anime seconds of your frozen time, and I'll show you why. The first feature is the Arms of the Astral Self. As a bonus action, you could spend 2 ki points to manifest the arms of your astral self. The arms will hover over your shoulders and will always follow you around. Right away, this is already different than the 4 stand user subclasses I've talked about earlier, as they've treated stands as another creature that you'll have total control over, and they'll have their own list of rules of how to manage them. With the arms around, you'll gain 3 new benefits, which are the only 3 benefits here that aren't named for some reason. You can use your Wisdom modifier instead of your Strength modifier for strength checks and saving throws. Your new arms are considered as monk weapons, have a range of 10 feet, and uses your Wisdom modifier for its attack and damage rolls, instead of Strength or Dexterity. In addition, once you've attacked with your arms, you can make another attack with them as a bonus action. You can make more attacks as bonus actions as you level up, going from 2 more attacks at level 11 to 3 more attacks at level 17. The next feature is the Visage of the Astral Self. You can now summon the next piece of your astral self, the Visage, as a bonus action for 1 ki point. The Visage will cover your face like a helmet or a mask, and you can summon it on its own or along with the arms. You'll gain 2 benefits with the Visage. Wisdom of the Spirit grants you advantage on insight and intimidation checks, and Astral Sight lets you see normally in any kind of darkness, magical or not, for up to a distance of 120 feet. The level 11 feature is Awakening of the Astral Self. You'll now gain 3 benefits if you have the arms and the Visage summoned at the same time. Deflect Energy lets you use your reaction to reduce a certain kind of damage that you've suffered, like cold damage or force damage. Empowered Arms lets you deal bonus damage to your arms' damage rolls. The bonus damage is equal to your martial arts die. The third benefit is Word of the Spirit. This lets you speak directly to one creature 30 feet away, making it so that creature is the only one to hear you. Or you could speak so loud that all creatures within 600 feet of you can hear you, which is the equivalent to 182 meters or 0.11 miles. The final feature is your Complete Astral Self. You can now summon your Astral Self as a bonus action for 10 ki points. This Astral Self will cover your entire body, like a suit of armor, and will come with your arms and visage. You'll gain 3 benefits while you're in your final form. Armor of the Spirit will give you a +2 bonus to your AC while you aren't incapacitated. Astral Barrage will let you attack 3 times instead of 2 times when you use your extra attack feature. If you do the math right, this will let you attack 6 times, 3 as an action and 3 as a bonus action, thanks to the arms of the Astral Self. This might be a little bit broken, since you can now do 6 stunning strikes in 1 turn with this. Ki consumption will let you use your reaction to regain ki points equal to your Wisdom modifier whenever a creature within 10 feet of you is reduced to 0 HP. You can benefit from this by either with you punching a creature to death, or when an ally or enemy dies right next to you. This should let you keep regaining ki points at a fast rate, letting you spend them on attacks or for summoning your astral form in the future. Okay, now let's break this all down. Wizards of the Coast attempted to make their own version of a stand user, with its own identity and functionality. And in the end, they did a great job, in my opinion.
It keeps the basic idea of a stand, which is the manifestation of oneself, and gives you a power set that isn't as customizable as the other stand subclasses, but it's the easiest one to understand and master.
Wizards of the Coast also wanted to avoid the typical visual aspects of the stands as well, settling for a monk to slowly develop their astral self over time, as opposed to just being able to access its complete form immediately. In addition, they didn't want the astral self to be a large and bizarre humanoid ghost that would follow you around, choosing it to be a set of floating arms and a mystical suit of armor that you can visually customize. Actually, there is a stand in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, Golden Wind, that is similar to the astral form, called White Album. White Album is a stand that isn't a buff specter like Star Platinum or Shining Diamond, but it's a full bodysuit that grants its user many benefits, such as resistance to bullets, the ability to freeze the air around them, and traveling around quickly with its ice skates. Now you can't do that with the astral form, but if you want to play a campaign filled with astral self monks to replace stand users, the DM could try to give each monk a unique ability or feature, such as fire powers or the ability to stop time, to make them stand out of the crowd and give you that feeling of going on a bizarre adventure. Overall, the Way of the Astral Self is an exciting addition to D&D. The abilities are easy to understand, but they might need to be adjusted slightly to not make them feel too overpowered. It's basically if you took the Siren from Borderlands 3 and you gave her a stand like White Album, then you got the Monk's Way of the Astral Self. And with that said, those were the new subclasses from Unearthed Arcana. Let me know in the comments your thoughts of these subclasses. Are they balanced? What changes would you recommend? Anything like that. The links to these subclasses can be found in the description below. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to like and subscribe for more homebrew content and other things bizarre. Again. Till next time. Bye.